Okay, let's get on to what we're doing for tonight. We are going to talk about bad people who do bad things.
In other words, people suck.
Everything that happened with Casey Anthony back in the early 2000s related to her daughter, Kaylee. And were any of you ever looking at this and being like, oh, she's like literally the worst, the most hated person,
See, it's not me.
the most awful person. She's totally guilty. I can't believe she got off. I can't believe she's innocent. Like, I can't believe they didn't charge her. I can't believe this happened. And then you look at her now and you're like, how are you still out? How are you still available? How are you still out there making a living?
Yeah, come on, girlfriend. You need to share some tips with me. I might need to know them soon.
And that she continues to maintain her own innocence in her daughter's brutal, and it was just awful, right?
Yeah, her own daughter's like horrible and like death and like, yeah, brutal.
She was, at the time of her, like her acquittal and everything, she was deemed the most hated woman in America.
Hold my beer.
You're Casey Anthony and you wake up one day and you're like, I'm living in Florida.
Apparently, not everyone in Florida wakes up in the morning like filled with dread and despair. Who knew?
And I'm going to open up my own advocacy group. Like, she sounds like she's wanting to be like Erin Brockovich, like Erin Brockovich goes out.
Yeah, if Erin Brockovich had killed her kid.
But I can't see how this is going to be successful for her, because I think even though she was acquitted, people still believe that she is guilty.
See, sadly, being accused of a crime can kind of stay with you for a while.
Her own background in, working, or her whole background, I would guess would be terrible for resumes.
I mean, it can't be impossible to find a job. I mean, so long as she's not applying at an orphanage or something.
She had the O.J. Simpson of attorneys. Yeah, his name was Jose. I can't remember what his last name. Big, high-powered attorney.
Yes, Jose is a powerhouse attorney, unlike some Twitter attorneys I know.
So, okay. So we've got everything. I think slow mode is on, which means only one chat per 30. Yeah, slow mode is on.
My slow mode is on. It's the first time I needed this in months.
This is the money that's for tithing. For tithing.
For tithing.
Yes, that is Hillsong. And now they're also being sued for $20 million for immoral acts.
I know what you guys are thinking, but no, we don't have morality laws on the books here.
In Australia, to do any sort of, can you imagine this? They don't allow, do you think there'll even be a church? Do you think there'll be any kind of church left when this is all said and done?
Do you think everyone else can tell how excited I get when I start dishing everyone else's shitty secrets?
So that's what we have with him. He's blaming it on mania, and just the idea that he's just saying that it's on his mania is wild to me. Like, obviously mental health can play a huge factor in a lot of things, but...
Well, I mean, my ADHD does make me do all kinds of things. I mean, probably things that no one even knows about yet. Maybe.
Viral story about Stand With Sophie, the little girl, and that whole viral GoFundMe campaign, and how everything is sort of falling apart right now. He hasn't seen his 3-year-old son in like a month. And she has a history apparently with like drugs and alcohol addiction. And so this is gone through so much in the last 3 months. And like, it's...
This poor girl. This is just all so terrible.
I just keep waiting for the full story to sort of come, for everything to come full circle and for everything to come out.
Because then when I'm vindicated, everyone will see that my calling this little girl a liar and a brat, that was the right thing to do. Believing her was wrong.
So no accountability for Michael Long, still grifting in Texas.
Yeah, so stay out of Minnesota. That's my state. Oh, and maybe Washington State too.
And I don't know if they're going to end up, you know, eventually opening a fraud case for this. One would think that taking money like this under false pretenses would be a good case for fraud.
Not in my experience.
I was hoping that we could do something similar like this each week, where I look at some of the bad people that are out there in the news and we can sort of see what they're doing and what they're up to. If you want more content like this, just let me know.
Yeah, so I thought it'd be a good idea for the channel, if we just make it a regular thing and talk about how much people suck. Well, except for me, of course.
A lot of women at a certain point in their lives are not looking for casual hookups. And men who are just looking for a fling need to pretend like they're looking for more. And so they play with women's emotions. And it's so wrong. Like, if you just want to have a front hug on the bed for 10 minutes, just tell the woman you just want a front hug on the bed for 10 minutes. And that's it.
Exactly. But if you want her to say yes, you offer more than 10 minutes.
Fearful, and the internet just would not listen to the evidence. The internet would not look at the evidence. The internet only wanted to see one thing. And it was such a dark time, and it was such a dark story. And now it's like we're on the other side of it now, where it's exactly where I thought it would be. I knew that this is what was going to happen.
See, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old the victim is. It doesn't matter what they're claiming. It doesn't matter. If there's bad people in their lives, then they can't be trusted. In fact, if they have a sketchy past, well, then their present can't be believed either. I mean, we aren't our stories. We aren't our experiences. We aren't our reports, our claims, or our cryouts. All we boil down to is who the people are in our lives. See, so this little girl, her father, not really a great guy. Therefore, this little girl was lying all along. And you know what? You guys are just chumps for believing her. You guys should have known better. You should have called her on that shit, because there's no way. I don't care who you are. If you have horrible parents, well, then you know what? You will never be able to tell the truth in your life, no matter what you say, because that's just how it works. I knew we would end up here.
And the person that's caring for the child that you're deeply terrified for is bringing felons around them.
A felon, See, 3 things should never be around felons: children, puppies, and a voting booth. Hey, I'm just a translator. These aren't really my personal views. In fact, I think everyone should be able to vote. I don't care what crime you committed. As far as children and puppies, well, so long as you didn't commit a crime against children or puppies, I think you're fine.
Real people were deeply hurt by that, and real people's lives were destroyed. And I'm not even talking about me.
You can tell I'm not really talking about me because my life's not destroyed, but you can go ahead and think it was.
Misinformation that gets out, and I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about this case from the summer, obviously, which involved, and I was thinking about how, when I was still writing for Patheos, under their whatever.
Yes, when I was still at Patheos, under their employment.
When I still had my column at Patheos, I did a lot of stuff with GoFundMe fraud, and I would.
Yeah, just don't ask for any links, and don't ask anyone if they remember any of these articles or what they're about, because no one can remember, and there are no links. In fact, there are websites that host my entire writing catalog, all my articles, except there's no GoFundMe articles there, because I guess I've written so many of them in the past, and they really do exist. I'm not lying. And I mean, this is the whole reason why I even got involved in the story to begin with, is because of the GoFundMe fraud. So if I'm lying about why I became involved in the story, well, then I could be lying about everything else involving the story. We can't have that.
Cover these cases where people would get these viral campaigns. They would make a ton of money. And then there would always,
And what I mean by I would cover these stories, I mean I read them.
and there was all these like misappropriations of the funds from that. And they all went and got convicted. And the ringleader of that now is in, the ringleader of that is now in federal court right now, and he has to deal with, obviously, sort of the fallout there. So they all, like, two of them took a plea deal, right? And then the others ended up, hold on one second. I want to just do something really quick.
Of course I have to look it up. I can't remember everything I read. I mean, I just got done telling you that I didn't really write about this crap.
And then there was this other woman that I covered several stories of, people that faked being sick. So they would like pretend like they had cancer. They would pretend like they had some sort of illness. And then they would have these GoFundMes and raise a ton of money.
And when I say I covered several of these stories, I mean it in much the same way that I say I meant that Lorianne was my best friend. So it's bullshit.
Why would you fake something? I hope you guys all have something to drink. I have Summit Winter Ale tonight. So cheers, everyone. Okay. Okay.
I'm already drunk, but I don't drink though.
So, Bad Girls Club.
Did you see that? My beer turned into wine. Did I do that? Yo, I'm suburban Jesus.
But like,
please don't make me translate that one.
I'm seeing a lot of people that have fibro in here. That makes me so sad for you guys.
Wow, there's a lot of you guys. Oh no, I'm just seeing double.
What would be an example of an intrusive thought? Like thinking you're going to harm someone. They can be horrible. Like thinking you're going to do something really bad to someone. But then you know that you're scared that you're going to do it, but you know that you're not going to do it. And then you become paralyzed by the thought that you would do this. And then you think you're a bad person for like having the thought. All I know is I don't have them anymore because I went to therapy and I'm on the right balance of medication.
Okay, I get to do member shout outs again, and we have new members. So we have T King, Tina Colry, Rena Roo, Yoo-Hoo Shoo Shoo, Babibbity Bobbity Boo. I think you joined just to make me say this. Holly B, Jen Gerard, Sensibly Morbid, Angie Dare One, Poodlerific, Larissa M, T King, Susan, Crystal, Pink Flamingo, Stacy Bloomberg, Claire S, Lizzie Stardust, and Nolani. Thank you guys so much for joining, and thank you all for watching. Have a good night.